And trying to stop it is like trying to stop a tsunami one drop of water at a time. You might delay a couple of them, but that wave's still coming.
My name is Ruben Averts, and you're listening to my conversation with Kat Casey, recorded on location at Lexpo Talks in Amsterdam. Kat, known as the Techno Cat, has spent almost 20 years at the front line of AI and the law, from the Big Four and Gibson Dunn to legal tech companies like Disco and Reveal. She wrote the book AI in Legal Tech and now leads the Masters AI Legal Conference series. Today we talk about why language is the lawyer's real superpower, who keeps up and who falls behind as AI takes hold, and how she separates real signal from the noise in a field this loud.
More people are suing each other, not less. There's been a 50% increase in pro se litigation since AI came out, so more cases in the court, more need for lawyers. So we may actually find we need more lawyers, not less. It's known as the liar's dividend. So there's a philosophical thing that as the AI, the videos and the images get better, humans trust it less. Terminator is what people are afraid of, like the robo-lawyer replacing them. But even that is not going to be as good as someone working with tech to augment their own mind. Like the human plus the Iron Man suit is a better result than Terminator every day. It's not an existential crisis of there will be no lawyers, but it's an evolutionary crisis on a very shortened timeline, and now's your window. Even if 99.9% of it is being done by AI, a human going in and making sure it passes that sniff test, that their expertise is in it, I demand that is in there, because otherwise we lose the value of expertise that the legal industry has been developing for centuries.
Kat, welcome. Great to have you here. You did the keynote opening this morning. The human edge, how did it land in the room?
I think it really resonated. A lot of times these keynotes talk about, should we use AI? AI is scary, AI is bad, AI is good. I was like, hey, AI is inevitable. What do you do about that? How do you bring your team along? And I had a bunch of people come out during, after, throughout, and it seemed like a novel angle that they really appreciated.
Yeah, because you called AI a tsunami, right?
And trying to stop it is like trying to stop a tsunami one drop of water at a time. You might delay a couple of them, but that wave's still coming.
Because you've been shouting about AI and legal for almost 20 years. Does a room like Lexpo feel that it's finally getting caught up?
It's lumpy. I was talking with my good friend Dawn at ILTA as well. Some people are cutting edge in the bubble with me. There's like 10,000 of us who think of ourselves like legal lawyers, but there's 1.29 million humans that are just now figuring out. So some are very much catching up, some are innovative, and some are like, hey, this AI thing, it's scary. So it's kind of all over the map.
Yeah, your keynote argument is that law is AI's home field because it runs on language, structure, and reasoning, and it's exactly what lawyers do. But that's also quite unsettling, right, for lawyers, because language is precisely what the models are best at. So where is the human edge?
So I think the edge is their unique subject matter expertise and allowing the AI to access I call it the 1 trillion synapses in your brain, right? Your legal expertise. Because these tools are great, but they're generalist. You as the specialist, as the legal mind, combined with the tools is a much better outcome than AI on its own or a human without AI.
And even if the tools are getting more specialized as well?
Even if you really need a BS detector, right? You need to be able to say, hey, this case it gave me sounds too good to be true. I should see if it's fake, not, oh, it's great. Let me rubber stamp it and put it right in my brief. So having that ability to critically analyze a problem, to clearly articulate what you want, and to push back on the AI with your judgment, that makes lawyers more important, not less, even as the tools get better.
And also the exact same amount of lawyers? Or do we need less lawyers in the future?
I don't know if it's less lawyers, but it may be different tasks. It might be a legal technologist. It might be a legal data scientist. It might be different tools they're using. So there may be less junior attorneys, maybe more senior. What they do in a day may change. What tools they use may change. But at the end of the day, more people are suing each other, not less. There's been a 50% increase in pro se litigation since AI came out. So more cases in the court, more need for lawyers. So we may actually find we need more lawyers, not less.
Yeah, because one of the bigger risks is now also AI being used to fabricate proof, or the other way around, lawyers saying this proof isn't actually real, it's made with AI.
100%. It's known as the liar's dividend. So there's a philosophical thing that as the AI, the videos and the images get better, humans trust it less. And so people can bring what's called a deepfake defense, and they can claim a very real video was made by AI to delay a case or to even discredit a piece of evidence. And so it's a big risk. Even if you're not using AI, someone might claim you are.
And do you have like a plan for this? How do we tackle this issue?
I think you need to be proactive in authenticating and validating in the metadata, the data about data, how your information came about, have backup primary sources, and plan for people to bring the deepfake defense. It kind of sucks to have to do it, but if you know it might be out there and you plan on the front end, it's not going to be a surprise and it's not going to derail your case.
Can you tackle it really quickly if you know it's going to come?
Potentially. I mean, there's some tools out there. They're not great. One by Intel actually can tell at the pixel level whether blood is moving under a human skin.
Wow.
Right? So there are tools, but some of it's really simple. Like, is there a video from another source of this thing occurring? Or is it the right day? Is there too many fingers on the hand? Is the mouth synced up? It's not a perfect way, but there's some kind of basic things you can do before you have to pay for an expert, which then can get quite costly.
Right. Yeah, because you put it quite bluntly, right? Lawyers that use AI are going to replace your lawyers that don't. Up to 70% of the legal work can be automated. But be honest, how many of the 1.3 million lawyers you talk about can actually make this transition?
I think more than you would guess, because the way you access these tools is by the written word in a text box like you do with Google. So it's not like you need specialized expertise to start using it. And it might be that not everyone on the case team has to be the AI expert, but you can ask them questions and bring them in. So I think more will come along for the journey than you expect. And you don't need to be an AI expert. You just need to know when to raise your hand and say, I need an expert, to know when there's an issue, or to know when to say, hey, there might be a problem. Those are all very lawyer skills, just applying it in a slightly different context.
So the lawyering won't really change that much. You
have the same obligation. You've got the duty to supervise, you've got a duty of technical competence. A lot of the AI stuff, we're just using the laws already on the books to rein people in to make them be a good lawyer.
So you already quickly touched upon it, junior lawyers. How do you feel about people entering the game right now? Some argue that the bottom of the pyramid kind of vanishes. If AI does all the work juniors used to do to learn the business itself, the work itself, how are we going to deal with the future lawyers of, let's say, 2035?
Well, I always argue that a lot of the times junior lawyers were basically doing doc review, which doesn't teach you anything. So the tasks we give the junior lawyers to bill for might shift. But being able to develop expertise on certain tools, being able to do client intake, mentoring, and following around more senior attorneys, those are probably going to have to become a bigger part of the legal training. Because you're right. Like, I was talking with a big tech company and their AGC is like, I'm not going to pay for this and this and this because I know AI can do it better. So we need to evolve how we train these attorneys and what we train them to do. It's not learn how to legal or learn how to AI. It's learn how to use these new tools in your toolbox to do the legal tasks that haven't changed.
Because we talked to a lot of different offices as well, big law firms. They're now kind of experimenting with running simulations, putting juniors in simulations. Mm-hmm. What's your take on that?
I mean, I think it's a great start. I think shadowing in real life is probably a better one because the simulations are by design going to be formulaic and kind of predictable. And if it's like regular training, they're going to click through it. Whereas if you have them shadow a partner or maybe work on some pro bono cases or even become the dedicated tech expert, that could be a lot more valuable more quickly as opposed to more of a compliance thing where they're like, oh, I've done my training to lawyer. Yay.
You also say not everybody has to use AI, but you need to be able to talk about it. Isn't being able to talk about it a way to let people off the hook?
No, not necessarily, because you need to be able to identify the risks posed by tools so you can advise your clients. There was a recent case in the States where after meeting with an attorney, a client put all of their notes, which were privileged, into a chatbot and waived privilege. The court found, like, by doing that, because the lawyer didn't say don't do that, they created this whole issue. And so it's not letting them off. There's a floor. Like, you need to be able to tell your clients what they can and can't do with these great off-the-shelf tools, warn them about their blind spots, even if you're not planning to use the tools yourself. If you don't have that basic understanding, I think it's malpractice. So I would say the bar is higher. You don't need to just be able to talk the words. You need to be able to accurately advise your clients in the age of AI as a floor.
And that's the human edge that you're talking about.
It is. And it's also just, it's a need. If you can't advise your business client about the risk of deploying a new tool or of putting their data in a specific type of platform, are you really lawyering for them? Are you offering them your judgment in your guidance and mitigating risk for them? Not if you have a big risk like that you're not telling them about.
Can we kind of compare this to any other technology that has come onto market and kind of shifted the way that lawyers need to work?
No, this is very different. I was listening a couple of years ago to the CISO, so the Chief Information Security Officer for Uber, former, and he said everyone's trying to compare this to something. Is it like the internet? No, that took 20 years and was much slower. Is it like the printing press? No, that was only a limited number of people. Is it like the written word? No. He said it was like fire. It transformed how you live, work, and play so foundationally. And it's not just in your job. My mom uses it to make terrible knitting patterns. My nephew's using it to do Roblox better. My clients are using it, my colleagues, my peers, my competition. So all of this has happened in 3 years, 6 months, and 9 days as of today. That's a double exponential adoption in a fraction of the time we had, like less than 20% of the time we had to adjust to the internet, but it's impacting life even more. So it's pretty uncharted territory. But the good news is if you're listening to a podcast like this or at a conference like this, you're in the group that's preparing for it by learning and educating yourself. So I'd be worried if I was playing ostrich and not doing that right now.
Yeah, because you position yourself as the one cutting through all the noise, right? The AI hype, the AI washing.
Mm-hmm.
How does a lawyer tell real signal from all the noise?
Well, bring back the human in the loop. Like, I feel like I'm drowning in the volume of AI news and all I do is AI stuff.
It's your bubble.
It's right. But even for me, what I've done is instead of having 10 different RSS feeds and specific people, I have humans I talk to. Someone who does agentic stuff. What are you seeing? Or I have someone that's in a big law firm. What are you seeing? And so it kind of is, I've almost shifted from I want to scrape all the information in the world to I'm going to curate it through people I trust that are experts. And so I advise people, find your tribe, find your dork. If you need an AI dork, I volunteer, because you can't go to them. There's just too much stuff. And then it's being generated by AI, which makes it even faster and more voluminous. So you've got to curate it with humans.
So actually the AI has kind of made it more important to connect to humans.
100%. Well, and there's a little of the dead internet theory, like AI is creating the content that is then optimizing the search, which then means you get AI content when you run a search. Which means, is it that valuable, or are you just getting confirmation bias? Well, if I talk to a human that understands this stuff, they can say, oh, this is good, this is not good. Here's who I would listen to.
So will the most valuable data be the data from before 2022? Before ChatGPT came into market?
Not necessarily, because there's also beautiful connections that can be made by these large language models that are beyond human cognition. So some of the output's great. It's just the lazy stuff. The people who ask a generic question, they don't add their insight, and they're like, oh, good enough, copy, paste, go. Like, there is still great content that's done where the human and the technology, the human and the bot are working in tandem because it can level up their insight. So yeah. I think the best is yet to come, but you have to be selective and you have to curate a lot more because there is so much noise, and finding signal is so much more important and so much harder.
So I'm going to take the time now to kind of hire you as my dork here. What's the most overhyped thing in AI that we're seeing right now? In legal AI?
I think it's the idea of like the super agent, like the agent playing with the agent, operating with minimal to no legal input. I think the further you get away from humans having that final say before something goes out to a client or goes before a judge, that's important. You don't want to get too far away from that. And so I think some of the super agent stuff and even the agent hype makes me a little nervous. I look at what Anthropic did initially with co-work and trying to make their own dedicated workflows, a little bit overhyped, but then they replaced that with direct connectors with great tech that we know and trust. And so maybe they're course correcting. But I think, agents and super agents make me not nervous, but I don't know that that's better than just an effective workflow with lots of human in the loop.
Yeah, because that's the differentiating factor, right? The human in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
So you would say having an AI agent doing everything is never going to be the answer.
Well, it's like I said in my talk, like Terminator is what people are afraid of, like the robo-lawyer replacing them. But even that is not going to be as good as someone working with tech to augment their own mind. Like the human plus the Iron Man suit is a better result than Terminator every day. And so if you don't have that human expertise working with tech optimized to work with the human, it's not going to be as good a result.
What do you think the simplest move is for a lawyer that hasn't really touched AI yet now to start?
I mean, go to shows like this. Look, there's a total universe of CLEs, a bunch of conferences. I might know a good book. And also talk to your friends. But like, just start somewhere. Like, you're going to feel uncomfortable and have imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome in AI.
You still have it?
Right. Of course I do.
Why?
Everything's moving so fast. I don't know all of it. But if we all have imposter syndrome, none of us do.
Right.
So be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable in the room, do it online. Take a CLE, watch the video, just start building that foundation. It's it takes reps. You've got to like flex the muscle and learn. And it's not something for most of us in terms of tech and AI that we were doing maybe as much last couple of years. So it's going to feel awkward. Lean into the awkward. Better to do it now than when you're even further behind the curve.
Do you think you're too late if you're starting now?
No. I think now's plenty of time. I think 18 to 24 months could be too late because it's moving so fast. And it's not just the adoption. That was double exponential. It's also these tech companies are using AI to accelerate their development of AI. So they're moving fast. What it can do is moving fast. And it's creating a gap in terms of the legal work product, the pricing, and the expectations of clients between those that are using it and those that aren't. So that will cement over time, and that time, 12, 24 months. So now is that window of urgency. Like it's not an existential crisis of there will be no lawyers, but it's an evolutionary crisis on a very shortened timeline, and now's your window.
Yeah, because so what's the risk if you don't get into AI now?
It's not that your job is gone. It's that you're going to find clients deferring to someone who's more effective because they use tech. And so it might be subtle at first, slightly lower billables with a certain client. Maybe a client picks someone else in an RFI. Maybe you don't get the phone call. But what you'll see 6, 12, 18 months down the road is you're getting substantially less business than your colleagues that are using these tools because they can do higher quality, higher volume work in a more predictable pricing way. So whether it's 6 months, 24 months, I don't know, but it's happening already. And if you don't start bridging that gap, eventually it might feel insurmountable.
One more question, Lev. In 5 years' time, what's one thing that you still hope is being done by humans, even if an AI can do everything?
That final gut check before anything goes to the bench, to a regulator, to a client, even if 99.9% of it is being done by AI, a human going in and making sure it passes that sniff test, that their expertise is in it. I demand that is in there because otherwise we lose the value of expertise that the legal industry has been developing for centuries.
Kat, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of Lexpo.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.